Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Duck Designs here. Um, the good news is I do have coffee with me this morning. However, I seem to have a rather distracted director currently, so I'm not really sure how long his attention span is this morning. Although he does have a bit of backup with his brother on the windowsill and the other one's somewhere in the room. So we'll see how we get on. So I've got to start with some news about some one of the Sale-A-Bration items, and it's this one, the Organdy Ribbon Combo Pack. Now, unfortunately, this has now sold out in just a very short time, so unsurprisingly very popular, and I'm really kicking myself because I forgot to order it as well, thinking it was going to be available for a good while yet. So if you've managed to order it, then that's fabulous. If it's on a back order, then you will still get yours, but unfortunately it is no longer available as one of the Sale-A-Bration rewards. So that's the first bit of bad news. The second bit, actually just before I move on from that, it's just a reminder that all the Sale-A-Bration rewards are available only while stocks last. So as I've learnt to my cost, if there's something you really think you're going to want, then don't delay in putting in that qualifying order to get your hands on it. The problem is there's so many lovely things to choose. It's quite hard, and much as we'd all like all of them, not necessarily that practical, is it? But anyway, do give it some thought, and if there is something that you really want, then do put that order in to get it. The other, as I say, piece of bad news, this was the card, or is indeed the card I am going to share with you today. As I said at the previous video, that was quite a complex card in that there was a lot of equipment needed. This one is a very simple card featuring the Butterfly Punch from the new Spring Summer Catalogue, which you can find in the Gingham Gala suite, which is on pages 34 and 35. I've literally looked at my computer this morning to find that there's an update saying that the Butterfly Punch has proved again very popular, and stocks of this are likely to run out within the next 2 weeks. So at the moment I've literally just gone on to do a practice order, and you can order it at the moment. So if you want this, then there's a link at the front of this video to my online shop, so get yourself on there and place an order. The situation is that once it becomes out of stock, it will take probably until the middle of March to come back in. So it doesn't mean you can't have one, it just means that if you don't get it before stocks are depleted, then you're going to have to wait for yours. So which, as I say, talking about mid-March. There's also been a note to say that it's carrying forward to the new catalogue, to the annual catalogue. So all is not lost. So I'm going to go ahead as I planned with this video, because if you can't make it straight away, then you can, once it comes back into stock, if you miss out this time, you'll be able to make the card in March. What I would say is that you will need the designer series paper. Hello, you're back in your rightful position now, are you? Got it? You listening? It's very important what I'm saying at the moment. So yes, it is very important that you get your hands on the designer series paper, the Butterfly designer series paper, which is again a Sale-A-Bration gift. So you can always put that to one side and wait until you can get your hands on this punch again. Yeah, I hope that's all kind of making sense. So as I say, I'm going to get on with showing you how to make this card. It's used in combination with the Butterfly Gala stamp set, and this is currently available as a bundle. Again, so it's the Butterfly Gala bundle. So again, once these deplete, if you want both, then my advice is hang on and get it when it's available as a bundle, because you will save yourself a bit of money. Just buy some other things so that you can get your hands on this paper. So the designer series paper that I've used is this free gift in Sale-A-Bration, if I can find it. It's in here somewhere. There you go. Botanical Butterfly Designer Series paper. Now, if you joined me for my walkthrough of the catalogue, or the Sale-A-Bration brochure rather, you will have seen the paper, but in case you missed that, I'll just share that with you again. So 12 sheets and 6 different designs, and it's a two-sided one. So you've got all these beautiful colours on one side of the paper. Okay, is that yours to play with? I don't think so. So you've got some pattern paper and then 4 with butterflies on it. Now some of these butterflies, so this one for example, that will coordinate with the butterfly punch. Can you just pause that a moment? Oh, I couldn't stand that going on all the time. Timmy had found a caster off the bottom of the bed, so probably when we moved the bed to try and grab them out of there to take them to the vets. So he's now going to scrap the bed and lose temper. Okay, so we've got this paper here which, as you can see, will coordinate with the smaller butterfly on the designer series paper. And there's also one on here that I believe, I think it's that one. Yeah, that one will coordinate. So not all of them will, these are too big, although that one I think will work with that. So I think you get the drift of where I'm going with that. So that's the colourful side. If we turn it over, we've got this gorgeous monochrome effect. So again, brilliant background papers we've got going on there, but we've also got some butterflies, and again they will coordinate with the punch, and this one is the one that we're going to be using today. So put those safely away. So good job, one of you's being good, isn't it, Ollie? So some card here. So I've got some basic black as my base card, and that is a normal cut at 8 by 6, scored at 4 in the middle to give me my base card. Now what I do always keep forgetting to say is it's always worthwhile using your bone folder just to get that fold there nice and crisp. I have to say I couldn't resist this yesterday. I found myself in a garden centre and that was just so cute. I thought I've got to have that. Put some tools in, and at least if I fill this up I might remember to bring in the things I need. You never know, do you? So now I've got 2 pieces of Whisper White, and they are cut at 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Now one of them is going to be my inside for my card, and I'm going to use some Memento ink. Do you think this is the right time to have a fight, Barney? I don't think it is. It's somewhat distracting. Can you sort them out? Go and sort them out, Ollie. Go and say, I don't know, what's the difference, the opposite to action? Stop it, behave. You tell them. Right, so I'm using this stamp set, which is that one. And I just want the 2 little butterflies. It's all happening. Now, these are all joined because they're actually designed to work with that punch. So you see they will work and you can cut them out simultaneously. But I mean, you could, if you wanted to, cut that, but I'm more likely to probably use it as a duo, so I'm not going to do that. But if you just want the tiny butterfly, it's just a case of sort of fiddling with it to get it on the paper without getting any ink from this one. So that's that one. You could get a baby wipe, just wipe along the edge there, just to make sure. Slightly not taking the ink there, but actually I think I can probably get away with that by just using a Stampin' Right marker just to fill that in. And I'm going to do the sentiment across the middle. Can you pause? So I've just paused very briefly to just go and get my Stampin' Right marker and go over just that very outer edge there that hadn't quite taken the ink, and I'm quite happy with that. After all, it is a handmade card, so there's always a way, or generally a way, that you can do to salvage it. If it hadn't looked that great, what I would have then done is probably put some Wink of Stella on it, just to make it look like it was meant to be like that. So I'm going to stick that onto my card. So just centralising that in the middle. So that's the inside done. Now the outside, I've got another piece of white Whisper White card, 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. Just going to stick that on the front with my snail. Are you back? We did have words about this sort of part-time attitude you've got, didn't we? Obviously didn't go in, did it? Did you sort out what on earth was going on downstairs? Is it all in order now? So I have another piece of basic black card, and I've cut that at 3.5 by 5.5. Just checking. So I'm going to put that in the middle there. I think actually I did that at 3.25, that one. So this one's going to be a slightly different card, which I think is always good. It's nice to have something a little bit different. So that one I think was 3 3/4, and that was 3.25 by 5.25. So you've got more of a white band around that. We've got a slimmer white band around this one. Right, I need a sip of coffee. I can feel my need. Right, so I'm going to, I don't want to waste these butterflies, so what I'm going to do is I want 5 put on the front of my card. Now these ones, you can see they're bits missing, so it works if you're using it as a background card, but obviously it doesn't work if you want to cut the butterflies out. So I go up, I'll go this way. That means I'll just be taking the bottom of the sheet off. Now, just cut across there. So I've got a still nice piece of my first sheet of that paper to use. Right, so that's my first butterfly, and we want to line it up in the punch there. Now, I'm going to have to do this right-handed because I am extremely right-handed. Now it is going to cut some of his antennae off, but in the great scheme of things that isn't going to make a great deal of difference. Take your time to line it up. You can see that the punch will punch out another little butterfly, so if you were using that on just some nice coloured paper, it could still be a butterfly, although it wouldn't have the butterfly markings. So I'm going to cut out 5 of those. So if you don't mind wasting the paper, you can just go for it and cut it and lose some of the other butterflies. Personally, I think I'm going to get quite a bit of mileage out of this paper, so I'm going to use it sparingly at the moment. Now, sometimes it's a bit hard when you've only got a little tiny bit of paper, so what I've found is easier. Just get a piece of very flimsy note paper, just put a tiny bit of snail on the back, when I say tiny I do mean enough to stick it. So you've now got a big piece of paper to get your hands on it and guide it into the punch. Move one bit and then when you're doing this, you're not trying to film it, you've actually got to put it in a weirder aspect of the way you're holding things, because you're just doing it for yourself. So on this one I've got a piece of the white paper, so I'm just going to, because I've only used a tiny piece of snail, that will just peel off. Yeah, we've got, actually that one's got his wings missing, so I need another one. It's one of those talk amongst yourselves moments, isn't it? But we could do some background music or something. This is the sound of concentration. That'll do. so quiet, Ollie's gone to sleep. Now the fact I'm putting the snail just down the middle of the butterfly, where I'm actually going to be putting glue dots, just a thought I had, if you've got some glue on it, don't stick it on your card like that. Alright, I will do this one, and then I'll pause the video while I just do the final one, purely because I thought this was a complete one, but it's not. He's got his wings missing. And I think there's only so much punching out that you need to see. So when you're punching anything like this out, if you're just punching like out of any old piece of paper and you don't care what the design, so you just want a floral butterfly, then no problem, do it that way. If you're trying to punch out an image, which tends to be what we use punches for more, then turn your punch upside down so you can see what you're doing. Sounds obvious, but I think because we're used to using them the other way around, you don't necessarily think first off when you perhaps are starting out. So again, if you were using a round punch as a set for a sentiment base or whatever, you can always use your punch that way. Slightly easier on the thumb muscles, but that is the way to do it if you're trying to punch out an image. Right, so I'll pause it just for now while I get my fifth butterfly, and then I will be back. Right, so that's the fifth one was cut out, and I'm now just attaching some glue dots to the back of the butterflies. So I'm just going in with the butterfly on top of the glue dot down the centre of the butterfly. I'm putting a couple of glue dots on each butterfly. It's always easier if you take whatever you're trying to stick to your glue dot rather than the other way round. Right, I did the other three again because there's only so many times you need to see a glue dot stuck on. Now it's quite thick, the designer series paper, so it will take a bend in it. So as you pick your butterfly up, just bend him in at the middle, and it always looks better to have an odd number. So we'll go with a similar design to that one. Stick this one over here. Another one down here. Let's put him a little bit that way so he's not following the exact line of the other one. Just push them down in the centre. What, are you going to fall off, are you? It's a big shelf. I don't think even you can manage that. I don't think you can manage that. I don't. Are you gorgeous? Are you? Now, give me back my hand. Shouldn't bite the hand that feeds you, Ollie. Bit of a tip there. Right, so that's my final butterfly on that card. And obviously I'd want an envelope to go with that, which I think I had up here. I have to say, young man, your nails need cutting. You need a manicure. That's my job for this afternoon, isn't it? It's always something, isn't there? Always some need of yours that I need to fulfill. See, I want to be crafting. What's going wrong here? That's better. Alright, so I'm just going to put a bit of design on the front of the envelope. Hopefully. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. But you could obviously put something on the back as well if you wanted to. So that is the completed card, which I'm sure you'll agree is a very simple card to put together, but I think that looks so effective with the black and white. So if you'd like to get your hands on this punch sooner rather than later, then do please use the link on the front of the video to my online shop to buy it. But as I say, if you're not ready for it, or you happen to miss out, then don't despair. It will be available later on and through to the new catalogue. Actually, there was another punch which is in the same position as this one. So instead of the director having a meltdown, it was the cameraman this time pressing the wrong button. So we do apologise for that. So I just wanted to highlight again this punch, the cake builder punch. That is in the same position as the butterfly punch and is likely to run out very soon. So if it's something you wanted to get sooner rather than later, then do please put an order in. But again, I can confirm that that is going to be available later on during the early part of the year, sort of March onwards, and also carrying forward. So that's all I actually wanted to say. So if you've enjoyed the video, please do give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, then do please do that. All that happens is you get notified when I've uploaded another video. So I had planned on sharing this one with you next time, but given the situation of the punch, I won't do that. I'll save that to when the punch is back in fully back in stock and available to buy, which, as I say, March onwards, middle of March onwards, which to be fair is a sort of spring going into, well, no, not going into summer, but we'll all be thinking about summer then, time when we see lots of pretty butterflies. So that's fine. We'll sort of go back and revisit that later on. So what I'll do next time is I'll share a version of this card with you, which is again using one of the Sale-A-Bration rewards, which is a cute little stamp set. So come and join me again very soon, and until then even, take care. Bye.